Well, let's now speak to Andreas Krieg. He's an assistant professor at the School of Security at King's College London. He joins us now from there. Andreas, there's clearly been some progress here between Saudi Arabia and Qatar, but just how close are we to a breakthrough, do you think, especially given that Doha says it wants a holistic resolution which involves all of the countries?
Yes, hi. Look, we are so obsessed of the last 3 days to come and see an announcement being made of a breakthrough. I think, you know, we shouldn't forget this has been 42 months of a crisis. It's almost tomorrow, it's going to be 3.5 years exactly, where the Gulf people have been sucked into this crisis as much as elites, as much as everyone who's living in the Gulf. So to kind of resolve this, which is essentially an ideational crisis as much as an issue-based crisis, you know, this is a marathon. This is not something that can be done overnight. I think it's a positive development in the sense that this current effort between Kuwait and the Americans as a mediator is essentially between Qatar and Saudi Arabia. And these are the two parties who are now willing to talk to one another and they basically came to an agreement to eventually negotiate an agreement, if you will. So it's a preliminary agreement to kind of agree to an interim period where both sides can monitor each other's commitments and goodwill to actually solve this crisis.
Well, so let me ask you then, how significant have the visits been that we've seen over the last few weeks from Kushner and Pompeo? I mean, it seems that most people expected movement perhaps on the air blockade, but not necessarily much else. And now we're here. Will Abu Dhabi come to the table?
Right. I mean, there have been very significant progress made. I think, as the Qatari foreign minister was saying, this has been in the making for nearly 18 months now, but it has kind of really speeded up this process over the last 3 to 4 months. And the agreements have already been negotiated. The Americans have made suggestions of how to kind of come up with conflict resolution mechanisms, because that is very important, and how to monitor any problems that might arise between Qatar and Saudi Arabia. The idea here is that the Saudis will bring in the other parties to that crisis, the other parties to the blockade. But obviously the Saudis are under immense pressure to make concessions at the moment, because they want to look as a constructive player in the Gulf and in the MENA region to the new Biden administration in the United States. But they now have also the pressure to bring in Abu Dhabi into the fold, which is going to be significantly more difficult, because the actual parties to the conflict, ideologically speaking, this is Qatar and the UAE. These two parties are not aligned, and to kind of bring these two together is going to be the biggest challenge. That's why the first step needs to be a resolution between Saudi Arabia and Qatar.
Well, so let's talk about the timing of this then. Do you think this is an attempt at a final diplomatic win for the Trump administration to try to perhaps leave a stronger anti-Iran legacy here? How do the Gulf countries actually view Biden?
Well, it's not about how the Gulf countries view Biden, really. This is still about the Trump administration. The pressure has been put by the Trump administration and Kushner on all parties to come to a resolution. But obviously, you know, there are mixed views. I mean, the Saudis see Biden very much as someone who will discontinue the kind of transactional Middle Eastern policy that we've seen from Trump. The Emiratis, on the other hand, are also concerned because there will be more of a human rights conditionality. So, you know, their engagement in the Horn of Africa, Yemen, and also Libya is here under quite a lot of scrutiny. For Qatar, I think the Biden administration is overall a very positive development. So it remains to be seen to what extent, you know, Biden will continue exercising that pressure, because, like I said, this is an interim agreement to come to an agreement, and it's very vulnerable, very fragile to external spoilers. And I think the UAE at this point are probably the greatest spoiler to solving this crisis, because they were the ones also last year in 2019 in November. We were very close to a breakthrough, and it was again the UAE's intervention that kind of undermined the entire process.
And we'll certainly be watching the Gulf Cooperation Council Summit at the end of the month very closely. Andreas Krieg there from King's College London. Great to get your insights again on Al Jazeera. Thanks for being with us, Andreas.
Thank you.